Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachaya Shunyavadi Paschati Ishtarine. Okay, so I'm discussing about Ramanand Rai. Actually, I was very happy when a coordinator said, you can speak on Ramanand Rai, Prabhu. Ramanand Rai, not Prabhu, Ramanand Rai. Because to speak on Ramanand Rai, I mean to say you need some fortune also. It doesn't fall by chance that you're allowed to speak on Ramanand Rai, because everything is coordinated by Krishna, and it's not that we are. It's not that I'm pious soul. That's why I'm giving a chance to speak on Ramanand Rai. I think it's just the opposite thing. I'm actually like a sinful soul, so to purify me, this opportunity to speak upon Ramanand Rai is there. So okay, let me just start without wasting time. Ramanand Rai is okay. Just let me tell you one thing. So let me start before Mahaprabhu meets Ramanand Rai. That's very important. So Ramanand Rai, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he took sannyas in Katwa. We all know. So in Katwa he took sannyas, and after taking sannyas, he was roaming in Rardesh. Rardesh practically means West Bengal. So he was roaming in the forests of West Bengal for 3 days. He was roaming, and Nityananda Prabhu was running behind him, and he became practically mad. And then Nityananda Prabhu devised a scheme, and he by that scheme he took Mahaprabhu to Advaita Acharya's house, to Shantipur. So after Katwa he went to Shantipur, and there he met his all the classmates in Navdeep, and all the associates, all the Bengali associates, and his mother. Of course, Vishnu Priya didn't meet him. Some people say that Vishnu Priya met him. Some people, what I mean is, many other so-called Apasampradaya devotees, they have also written biography of Lord Chaitanya. For example, Jayanand, there was a person, Jayanand, he wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat. But of course, we know that is wrong. There are many things which are not acceptable philosophically to Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There were Panch Sakha in Odisha. 5 people, which I think one of them was Achyutanand, other was Atibadi. So they also wrote this biographies on Lord Chaitanya, but we don't accept them. For us, of course, all of you know, the bona fide biography of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Chaitanya Bhagavad, Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and of course Chaitanya Charitra Mahakavya of Kavi Kanpur Das, and also Chaitanya Charitamrita of Murari Gupta. These 4 or 5 books we have. Of course, other books are there like Bhakti Ratnakar and Prem Vilas. Here and there we find Mahaprabhu's pastimes explanations, but these 5 are a mainstay of information about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his philosophy, his pastimes, his mood, and all these aspects of Mahaprabhu's lifetime and pastimes. So some of the biographies which are not bona fide, they say even Vishnu Priya met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shantipur. And it's a very strong opinion of many people in Bengal. In fact, there's a whole sect, Vishnu Priya. They actually follow Vishnu Priya. And there was a big commotion at the time of Bhakti Siddhanta, and there was a big fight between Bhakti Siddhanta and this sect of Vishnu Priya. And this Vishnu Priya people, they used to publish every month a magazine, and they published big thick books on Vishnu Priya. Of course, there is some very good content and very nice bhajans and very detailed explanation of Vishnu Priya's life, which of course Most of us, we don't know in ISKCON and also in Gaudiya Math. But many things are philosophically wrong. So one of the wrong thing is Vishnupriya met Mahaprabhu there, and we don't accept it. After sannyas, Mahaprabhu didn't meet Vishnupriya. In fact, our whole take is that Vishnupriya didn't meet Mahaprabhu. And she was showing her sacrifice for and her cooperation and her assistance in the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. She was assisting the sannyas ashram of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by allowing him to go as sannyasi, and she didn't meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so that people would not later say, that after sannyas he met his wife, and that was very bad in those days, 500 years back. Sannyasi meets his wife, then there can be many rumors. What the sannyasi is doing with his wife? I mean to say, it's a very serious thing. In fact, when Mahaprabhu reached Puri, so when he met Sarvam Bhattacharya for the first time, Sarvam Bhattacharya asked the same thing. Sarvam Bhattacharya said, so one of his first statement was that, see, you are so young boy, like 24 years. And you are so young and you took sannyas. I'm like really amazed from what Sarvam Bhattacharya said. Sarvam Bhattacharya said, you don't know that that sannyas should be taken later in life. And now you're so young, so you might fall down. What is this? You're so beautiful, first of all. And many girls will be after you. How will you maintain your sannyas ashram? And Mahaprabhu was laughing. He's talking to Krishna and he's saying. So in fact, when Mahaprabhu later showed his Shadbhuj Roop to Sarvam Bhattacharya, 6-handed form to Sarvam Bhattacharya. So in one hand, flute, 2 hands flute, and 2 hands, one is bow and one is arrow, Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's with Danda and Kamandal. So he showed Shadbhuj form, and then Sarvam Bhattacharya, my God, who is this? And he prayed and he got up and he bowed down. And one of the first statement he said when he was showing his Shadbhuj form, and Sarvam Bhattacharya was in his feet. One of the first statement he said, so now tell me, who will fall down? Now tell me who is going to fall down. And Sarvam Bhattacharya was very ashamed. So it's not that God doesn't do jokes. That's foolishness. I mean to say, for most of the people, for 99% people of this world, 99.9% people of this world, God is a supreme power and or maybe a serious person whom we can contact and whom we have to see in awe and reverence. We have to fear him. Or maybe for mistakes, he's a person we love, but that's it. But Gaudiya Vaishnava conception goes far, far, far beyond any of these world religions or any of these Vaishnava religions, Vaishnava sects also, Madhva, Ramanuja, Vallabha, Nimbark, they have no idea of how intimate connection with God can be made. I mean to say, Chaitanya Prabhu is revealing his Shadbhuj form. At least in that form, he has to be serious, isn't it? He has to maintain his serious composure. He's showing him, he's revealing him. This I am, my Ishware. But you see, this is very interesting. Even in that mood of Ishware, where he's showing his Shadbhuj form, he is actually joking. He's not even joking. He's putting a sarcasm on Sarvam Bhattacharya. Now tell me who will fall down, I and you or you. So there is something Aishwarya Bhav, there is something Madhurya Bhav, there is something mixture of Aishwarya and Madhurya Bhav. In Mathura, in Dwarka is Aishwarya Bhav, in Vrindavan is pure Madhurya, in Mathura is Aishwarya and Madhurya mixed. But then but this is very general category. But then there is Madhurya Bhav with Aishwarya Bhav included in it. And that is Mahaprabhu's mood there. His whole mood is Madhurya Bhav. He's Krishna, of course. But when he's showing Aishwarya Bhav, he's revealing Aishwarya Bhav, but still his Madhurya Bhav his mood overtakes that Aishwarya Bhav, and he's putting sarcasm. See what you're doing. Anyway, this is something to think upon. It's not that we are doing PhD in this, but the whole idea is, it's very interesting. So anyway, I was talking about something. Anyway, so he went to Shantipur and their whole Vishnu Priya thing. So Vishnu Priya didn't meet Mahaprabhu, and by not meeting him, she was resisting his mission, so that he can complete his mission, and he can show to people, and he can distribute love of God, and he can show to people that what do you mean by feelings of separation from Krishna? And Vishnu Priya was showing, what do you mean by feelings of separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? That was Vishnu Priya's role in the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So anyway, so from Shantipur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Panihati. So after sannyas, so from Shantipur, Nityanand Prabhu accompanied him. So he told, so Chaitanya Prabhu told Nityanand Prabhu, so Chaitanya Prabhu asked permission from his mother, Sachima, that you please allow me to go somewhere. So I want to go to Vrindavan. But Sachima said, no, you should not go to Vrindavan, because it's so far, and in those times you have to travel on foot, and there was no train, or you can travel by boat through rivers. So 500 years back, the safest and the fastest route was rivers. So through river you can go to Vrindavan from Mayapur. In fact, Jahanava Devi, she sent one of his disciples, Parmeshwari Das Thakur, who was living in Tada Atpur in Bengal. And he was very intimate disciple of Parmeshwari Das, of actually Jahanava Devi. So she asked him to take a deity of Srimati Radharani to Vrindavan and install it alongside Gopinath. And so that was a first deity of Srimati Radharani in Gaudiya Vaishnav Samaj, which was installed by Jahanava Devi through Parmeshwari Das Thakur. And how did he travel? He traveled through Ganges. You can easily travel through Ganges. From Mayapur, you take a boat and then you keep on traveling, go to Kashi, then Allahabad, then Mathura, Vrindavan. That's all. So from Ganges you travel and you to Prayag, and from Prayag, Ganges and Jamuna and Saraswati. So then you take route of Jamuna, and then that's it. So anyway, Sachima said, I can't really live without you, because Vrindavan is so far, I cannot come so far. So at least you go to Jagannath Puri. Please go to Jagannath Puri. So we will be able to come, and we will be able to actually meet you. Oh, ye kya hota hai? Yeah, Hare Krishna. So we will be able to come, and we will be able to meet you. Now, so Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri. In fact, this was some external reason. He told my mother, whatever you say, I have to follow your order. But of course, internal reason to go to Jagannath Puri was that he wanted to show what do you mean by feeling separation from Vrindavan. Feelings of separation from Vrindavan and Krishna, that's the best method and the highest method to worship Krishna. That's what he wanted to show. So from Shantipur, from Shantipur he took Nityanand Prabhu, and then Gadadhar Pandit, and then Jagdanand, and then Damodar Pandit. All these people went with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also Mukund. So these people, they accompanied Mahaprabhu, and from Shantipur they went to Panihati. Raga Pandit they met, and then from Panihati they went to Pichalada. So there is a place in 24 Pargana district. This is Pichalada, where there's where I think that so there is one devotee of Mahaprabhu, Anantacharya. He met him. From there he went to Chakratirth, and from Chakratirth he went to Tamluk. Tamluk is a place where later Vasudev Ghosh, he will make his base in Tamluk. And from Tamluk, then he left Odisha and he entered Andhra Pradesh. Of course, at that time there was no Andhra Pradesh. So from there he went to Kurmashetra. And from Kurmashetra he went to Simhachalam. Simhachalam means Varanarasimha deities. He took darshan. And from Simhachalam then he went to Rajmandri. That's the place. Godavari, near Godavari river. He went to Rajmandri. He stopped there. Now, why he went to Rajmandri? Because, of course, sorry. So he didn't go to Rajmandri, Simhachalam now. So after taking sannyas, so you have to delete something. So you just go back. So after taking sannyas, so he came to Tamluk. From Tamluk, he entered Odisha, and then he came to Shakshi Gopal. And from Shakshi Gopal, he came to Jagannath. And Jagannath Puri took darshan of Jagannath, and then as soon as he saw Jagannath, he was about to faint. And suddenly, so all these pandas came with a stick to beat him because he was running to embrace Jagannath. And of course, all these pandas, they thought he's another sentimental fool. So every day, some sentimental fool people come, they couldn't recognize. But immediately, Saram Bhattacharya came, he stopped. He said, stop it. He's a sannyasi. And he checked Mahaprabhu, and he saw that these are symptoms of ecstasy, of love of God. And so he was very happy. He took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home. And there in his home, Saram Bhattacharya, there were some discussions there. And then there, Saram Bhattacharya, so Mahaprabhu stayed in his home for at least 4 months, 3-4 months, something like that. But then after 4 months, Mahaprabhu said, I want to go for South India tour. I want to preach. Why did I take sannyas? I'm just staying in your house. What's this nonsense? Of course, so one of the nonsense was that he destroyed the life of Saram Bhattacharya. So in other words, he delivered Saram Bhattacharya from his nonsense Mayavad. So that accomplished, he said, now I want to go to South India tour. So at that time, Saram Bhattacharya told Mahaprabhu, see, we can't stop you if you have decided. But one thing, you please meet Ramanand Rai on your journey to South India. Anyway, you're going, so take this opportunity. Saram Bhattacharya said he is expert in discussions of gopis and Srimati Radharani and intimate pastimes of Krishna. He is expert in those sentiments, relishing those sentiments. Please meet him. So Mahaprabhu, then he left Puri, and then from Puri he came to Alalnath. Alalnath or Alarnath, it's some 25 kilometers from Puri. There he came, and you see, Alarnath is a birthplace of Ramanand Rai. That's very interesting coincidence. Birthplace of Ramanand Rai. Interesting. See, he came to Alarnath. And then, so of course, Ramanand Rai was born in Alarnath. Alarnath is a sub-district in Puri. And in Alarnath, there's a village, Bentur village in Alarnath. It's a very small place. So in that Bentur village, there was this person, Bhavanand Rai. And Bhavanand Rai had 5 children. So I think the youngest child was Vaninath, and then Kalanidhi, then Sudhanidhi, then Gopinath Patnaik, and the eldest was Ramanand Rai. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once said to Bhavanand Rai that you are like Pandu, and your 5 sons are like Pandav. So Bhavanand Rai was incarnation of Pandu. So we know from the records in Gaur Ganodesh Tipika, and all these 5 people his sons, they were incarnation of Pandavas, Arjun, Yudhishthir, Nakul, Sahadev, Bhim, and Ramanand Rai, he was incarnation of Arjun. Of course, Ramanand Rai is a mixture of Arjun and Vishakha Sakhi. And of course, yeah, Arjun, which is one of the Pandavas, Vishakha Sakhi, and also Arjun Sakha. So one of the cohort friends of Krishna. So you can understand, I mean to say, so we can have 2, 3, 4, 5 Sarupas simultaneously. So the people say, what's my Sarupa? What am I in Vrindavan? You can be a friend, you can be simultaneously a gopi, you can be also in Vaikuntha simultaneously. Anything can happen. Because that is called liberated platform. You can expand according to your desire to serve Krishna. You're not limited to one form. So that's another issue, but the whole point is Ramanand Rai. He was born there. So every year Mahaprabhu, when he used to visit Alarnath, every year, by the way, so when Jagannath ji, he gets fever every year. I don't know, he gets fever. It's fasting. So at that time, Jagannath temple closes. And all the Pandavas and all the priests, they are busy giving juices to Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, cold juices, and some herbs, medicines to actually reduce his fever. And so at that time, Mahaprabhu used to go to Alarnath because he used to feel intense separation from Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, from Jagannath. So at that time, he couldn't tolerate that separation. He went to Alarnath. And when he went to Alarnath, his separation increased. He didn't diminish. His separation increased more. His separation increased to a point that even the stone melted. If today you go to Alarnath, you can see the stone on which Mahaprabhu fell down and it's melted, and his body's impression is there on the stone. So every year you go to Alarnath, and every year he used to visit the birthplace of Ramanand Rai. That's how important Ramanand Rai is. Even God is going to visit the birthplace of Ramanand Rai. So there is one of the verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita where it is said that there is no bhed between me and Ramanand Rai. There is no bhed. Deha bhed nahi. Ramanand Rai and me looks separate, but actually we are one. That's how intimate Ramanand Rai was. So from Alarnath, so you see Saram Bhattacharya said to Mahaprabhu, meet Ramanand Rai. So this means Ramanand Rai was already a very famous personality, and of course Ramanand Rai didn't live in Alarnath. All these 5 sons of Bhavanand Rai, they took a job. So they were doing some jobs. Like Gopinath Patnaik was working under some Muslim governor or something. No. Yeah, so he was working for the king, Pratap Rudra. And so he was working under the prince of Pratap Rudra, so under the sun. And there was a whole incident of Gopinath Patnaik. So most of these, so all these 5 sons of Bhavanand Rai, they were in government officials. Ramanand Rai, he was devotee. He was very scholarly. He was a poet because he wrote a book, Jagannath Vallabh Natak. He was very expert in Nate. He used to personally train Devdasis who were dancing in front of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. So he has to be very expert in Nate. And we also know that when Rupa Goswami came and he had discussions with Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, and so Mahaprabhu said, Rupa Goswami, please tell what books you are writing. Rupa Goswami said, I am writing one book, Vedagda Madhav, about Krishna. So Mahaprabhu said, divide it into 2 books. One is Vidak Madhav when Krishna is Vrindavan. Another when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, go to Mathura and Dwarka. So don't mix those both too fast. So divided Vidak Madhav into two, Vidak Madhav and Lalit Madhav. Like that. So when he came to Puri with his two books and he showed Mahaprabhu, so Mahaprabhu said, please speak. What is the content of this book? And he told Ramanand Rai, you please check. You check what Rupa Goswami has to say. And you tell everybody whether it is good, bad, worse, or the best. So it was Ramanand Rai who was asking questions to Rupa Goswami. So what is the invocation of your Bhokal Vidat Madhav? And what is the first verse? What is the theme? And what are the verses about Krishna? What are the verses about holy name? He was asking all these questions. Rupa Goswami was answering. And Ramanand Rai was simply amazed. He said, this kind of caliber, it cannot be found in a human. And then Ramanand Rai said, probably, so he said to Mahaprabhu, probably you have blessed Rupa Goswami. Otherwise, he cannot write such a work. So this verse we read that, what's that? Mahaprabhu verse, where it is said, so that he is Krishna himself. What's that? I'm just missing in my mind. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. It's a famous verse. We always cite that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Anyway, that famous verse is there in Rupa Goswami's book. Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurati Cinema. No. Anyway. So yeah. Anyway.
Namo Mahavadanyaya.
Yeah. So, I was thinking about that. Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Padaya, Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namine. Yeah, of course, this verse is there in Rupa Goswami's book. Yeah. So one of this is one of the verses which is going to be recite. This is in the book Vidat Madhav initially, and but there's another verse also which I'm thinking. Anyway, I'll just leave it. So anyway, so the point I'm trying to tell is, what's that?
Okay, there is one version, Sai Gaura, Sai Krishna, Sai Jagannatha.
Yeah. But that version is written by Basudev Ghosh. Okay. So this I'm talking about Rupa Goswami's verse in Vidat Madhav, which I'm forgetting. It's a very nice verse. Anyway, I'll remember. I'll tell you. So there so the whole point is Ramanand Rai must be very expert in poetry and natya. Otherwise, Mahaprabhu didn't tell him. Mahaprabhu would not have asked him, you please test Rupa Goswami. So he was a scholar, he was a poet, he was a devotee, he was a very expert governor and manager. He was appointed by Pratap Rudra in Madras. So now we say Madras, of course. So at that time, there was no AP Odisha. So at that time, there was King Pratap Rudra, who had his zone in Odisha and some parts of Andhra Pradesh. And of course, Tamil Nadu. And then below Tamil Nadu, so after Madras, so now Madras. So at that time, it was Rajmundry. Place was Rajmundry, where Ramanand Rai was living. So after Rajmundry, approximately, started the kingdom of Krishna Dev Rai. And these Pratapruddha and Krishna Dev Rai, they were like enemies. They used to fight a lot. So Ramanand Rai, he was posted on the border where Pratap Rudra's kingdom almost finished and Krishna Dev Rai's kingdom starts. So his post was very important, because he was a person to see whether the enemy is planning to attack Pratap Rudra, and so what he's planning further in his plans. So that was very important post there. Tunde Tandavani Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labhyates. Yeah, but this verse is about holy names. So one of the verses there where Rupa Goswami says that you are Krishna yourself. So I think you can find that verse somewhere if it is there somewhere. I don't know.
Anarpita Charim Chirat.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunya Avtirna Kalau. Yeah, that's the verse. That's very nice verse. So even Jiva Goswami writes a commentary on that, beautiful commentary. And anyway, yeah, thank you for that. Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunya Avtirna Kalau. So that. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that verse, he just blocked his ear. He said, "Come on, what you are saying? I am Krishna. You're crazy." This verse says, "Anarpita Charim Chirat Karna Avtiram Kalau Samarpitam Unnata Lajwala Rasam Sobhakti Shriyam." So this verse says Mahaprabhu came to give his own bhakti. This is interesting verse. Mahaprabhu closed his ears. Oh, you don't speak like that. In fact, very interesting point. Nobody in Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara could actually glorify Lord Chaitanya as Krishna in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So anybody who dared to do that, he used to close his ears. But there was just one person, only one person. In fact, probably 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, 3 persons could tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his face that he's Krishna. And he used to like that. He at that time, he didn't close his ears. He didn't close his ears. So sometimes Sarvabhaumacharya also tried to glorify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna. And he closed his ear. Come on, what are you saying? You're crazy. But, so who were those 3 persons? Advaitacharya. He could clearly say, you're Krishna. And Nityananda Prabhu. And the 3rd person was Narahari Sarkar Thakur. In fact, there are so many songs in Vaishnava Padavali of Narahari Sarkar Thakur who are very, very beautiful songs, who is actually singing that you are Krishna himself. And in fact, that also brought a problem because now Narahari Sarkar Thakur followers in Sri Khanda, they have all become Gaurang Nagaris. So in other words, the followers of Narahari Sarkar Thakur now think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in mood of Krishna. That's what they think, and he is enjoying gopis in that mood. But according to Gaudiya Vaishnava, he's not in mood of Krishna. He's in mood of Radha. He's not Gaurang Nagari. So anyway, the whole point was Raman Rai. He was scholar, poet, and he was a big governor there. So definitely he should have been very intelligent in politics. He has to be if he's managing. Prataprudra heavily relied on Ramanapur, heavily, and this point is very important. Later, I'll tell you why. But he was heavily dependent on Raman Rai for management in South. So Mahaprabhu from Alarnath. So now you have to come back. When Mahaprabhu started his South India tour from Jagannath Puri, he went to Alarnath. From Alarnath, he went up to Kurma Kshetra. So he went to Kurma Kshetra. So actually, it's not up, yeah. So actually, it's down, yeah, because Alarnath, because Puri and Alarnath are in Odisha. So he goes down. He enters modern Andhra Pradesh, and there is one Kurma Kshetra. Kurma Kshetra is on the border of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh now. So in Kurma Kshetra we have deities of Kurma, tortoise. There is one deity of Kurma avatar of Vishnu. There is another Kurma avatar deities in Pushkar. So as far as my knowledge goes, there are just 2 temples in the entire world of Kurma Dev, where Kurma Dev is worshipped. So in Pushkar, Kurma Dev is worshipped along with Brahma, and of course in Kurma Kshetra you have Kurma deities. And then from Kurma Kshetra he went to Simhachalam. Simhachalam you have Varaha Narasimha. That's very beautiful deity Varaha. So you might not know what is the story of Varaha Narasimha, but in fact I'll just tell you in just one line. just here when so when Lord Narasimha came to actually rip off Hiranyakashipu, and he did that. So after that, Prahlad, so he was very angry and nobody could pacify his anger. We all know. So Prahlad went, and he was actually loving Prahlad. He was caressing Prahlad. So at that time, all these demigods were standing, and Lord Narasimha said, "Brahma, what are you doing? What you are doing now? You gave such a curse or such a blessing, a boon to Hiranyakashipu, and it became a curse for the entire world. And you see what he did. So please, next time, think what you want to give boon. Otherwise, it will not be good. I'm very angry." And Brahma got so scared that the Vedas he was holding in his two hands just slipped from his hand, and it slipped in Patal Lok. And Lord Narasimha, he saw, and he was very afraid. My God, Brahma slipped Vedas. So immediately Brahma took. So immediately Narasimha Bhagwan, he took form of Varaha, half Narsingh. Body was Narsingh, face was Varahadev. And he jumped in Patal Lok. He brought the Vedas back and he gave to Brahma. He said, "Here, Brahma, you're really messed up now. One mistake you did, Hiranyakashipu, and now you have left your Vedas. What is this? Just go back. Do another mistake." So there he took avatar of Varaha Narasimha. And so in Simhachalam we have this Varaha Narasimha Dev deities. In fact, Bhakti Siddhanta also worshipped, I think, Varaha Narasimha Dev only, which is established in Chaitanya Gaudiya Math in Mayapur, which he found, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur found when he was digging the house there. So when he wanted to make Yoga Peeth, he found it. So he gave it to Bhakti Siddhanta to worship. Or I think he was actually digging his own house. Something, I don't know. I forgot. But anyway, Bhakti Siddhanta used to worship. So from Simhachalam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went along the ocean coast. He came down and he reached a place, Rajmandri. Now he come to the place where Ramanand Rai was living, Rajmandri. And so Rajmandri is on the bank of Godavari. So there is Godavari river, here is Rajmandri, and on the opposite side of Rajmandri there is another district, Kovur. So Kovur and Rajmandri, they are like almost same. It's not a big thing. So like in America, you have like Charlotte, North Charlotte, South Charlotte. It's almost the same, So like that. So he went to Rajmandri. There, he first visited many temples there. This place, Rajmandri, it's very famous for few temples, and of course for one of the Rishi, Gautam Rishi. So perhaps I think Ramanand Rai chose to live in Rajmandri because of its holiness and its sanctity. Perhaps. So I'm just speculating. I don't know. Because he could have chosen to live in some big city somewhere, But he chose, he could have chosen to live in Vishaka. So he could have chosen to live in Vijayanagar, which is actually very near to Rajmandri, which is a very big city. And so at that time also it would have been big city. But he was living in this small village. Even today it's a small village, Rajmandri. At that time I don't know what happened. But he chose to live there. Why? Because there are 5 places to visit in Rajmandri where Ramanand Rai was living. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited those places. He came to that place and he visited, so first he visited a temple, Bharat Gopal temple. There is a very famous temple, Bharat Gopal. He visited that place. And then he visited one temple, very famous, which is called as Jagat Mohini Keshav Swami temple. Now, I think that's the only temple in the entire world of Mohini Murti. As far as I know, I didn't hear any temple of Mohini Murti. It's there. And in fact, the whole incidents of Shiva and Vishnu and Mohini thing, showing his Mohini form and deluding Shiva. Some people say it happened there. I don't know how it happened there. I don't know, but people say it's a folk knowledge. But anyway, the temple is there. Jagat Mohini Keshav Swami temple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited that temple, and then he visited. So what's that? He visited Ghoshpada. Ghoshpada is a place where Gautam Rishi lived. So we know that Gautam Rishi used to live along the bank of Godavari. Godavari starts from Nasik on the western side of India. And then from western side it travels, and it comes to the east. And then it merges into, I think, so into Bay of Bengal, they say. So here you have Godavari Sangam in Rajmandri. The ocean is very nearby. So here Gautam Muni, so one of the place where Gautam Muni lived is, Gautam Rishi lived is Ghoshpada. And some traditionally people say that even Ahilya was cursed here. Some people say somewhere else, some people say here. So anyway, it's like that. So here, and in fact, it is also said that this is the same place where Sita Ma was actually abducted by Raman. At this place. So near Rajmandri, there is a place Bhadrachalam, where people say Sita was abducted from here. Some people claim somewhere else, some people claim here. But anyway, so he visited Ghoshpada, and then he also visited Godavari Sangam. So I told that Godavari merges with the ocean. So when a river merges with the ocean, it's a very purifying place. So Godavari merges with the ocean. So Mahaprabhu visited this place, and of course there is. So presently we have a Gaudiya Math where Mahaprabhu met Ramananda Rai daily in the evening. So he went to. So when he went to Rajmandri, so after visiting these places, so he was resting on the bank of Godavari, and there Ramananda Rai came with all his entourage, with all his soldiers, and of course he was a governor. But the whole problem was Ramananda Rai. He belonged to a Kayasth community, which are usually Shudras or Vaishyas, like that. So he was from a low caste, but because he was at a very high post, even Brahmanas were walking with him. So he came, and then he saw Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu saw him, and just by seeing Ramananda Rai, Mahaprabhu would recognize this is Ramananda Rai, and I came to meet him. But they were hesitating to meet because here's a sannyasi, a Brahman, here's a Shudra, Ramananda Rai, and it was a very tense thing. So anyway, Mahaprabhu just embraced him. He left him at that point, and he said, "Okay, we'll meet in the evening." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived in one Brahman's house. So he didn't live with Ramananda Rai because Ramananda Rai, from caste society, was a Shudra. And a Brahmana and sannyasi are not allowed to live in Shudra's house or even take prasad. Of course, Mahaprabhu, of course, he's a Vaishnava, top class Vaishnava. But following the customs of the society, he didn't live in Ramananda Rai's house. He chose to live in the house of a Brahmana, a Vedic Brahmana. And he told Ramananda Rai, "You come a daily evening and you meet me." So daily evening, Ramananda Rai used to come. He used to meet Mahaprabhu, and that meeting place at present, that house, is now converted into a Gaudiya Math, which is, I think, yes. So it's converted into Gaudiya Math presently. So you can visit Rajmandri and you can see the place where we have discussions. So there are discussions, and these discussions are recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita, very nice discussions, where Mahaprabhu is asking questions, and Raman Rai is answering. This was very nice because Raman Rai, Mahaprabhu is asking questions, quite interesting. And by asking questions to Raman Rai, and Raman Rai is answering, Mahaprabhu is showing how special Raman Rai is and how adept he is in the understanding of Krishna consciousness and tasting the mellows of Krishna consciousness. And of course, in this lecture, I'm not going to discuss about the question answers of Mahaprabhu with Raman Rai. That's out of question. But that will take another lecture. So you can read that. That will be very interesting. And all those question answers, it carries all the philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, complete from A to Z. And then there were discussions with Raman Rai and Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was asking some questions. Also, some philosophical discussions were there. So all these discussions are recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Mahaprabhu asked, what is sadhe, what is sadhan, what is prayojan, what is avede, what is sambandh, what's the goal of life. And then when Raman Rai reached to the climax, he said, the highest devotee is Srimati Radha. Mahaprabhu then after said, so is there anything beyond this? Raman Rai was thinking what to say, and then he came up with something even beyond the Madhurya Bhava of Srimati Radha. And he came to the concept of Prem Vaichitri, Prem Vaichitya, which is technically called as, or it is called as Prem Vivarta. So he came up with the concept, and then after some time, Mahaprabhu closed his mouth and he said, "Don't speak more, otherwise people will think, people will not understand anything, and it will be really offensive for people to even hear all these intimate things. Don't speak. Let it be with you and me." Then Mahaprabhu said to Raman Rai that see, you are one madman and I am another madman, and we are meeting now. Why did Mahaprabhu say that? You are a madman, I am a madman. Because you see the whole point, a really Krishna conscious person will appear as a madman to people. He will appear mad. Loka bhaiye, what's that word? Bhagavatam. So says, Atha raurauti rodati unmadvat nityati loka bhaiye. That verse says a devotee sometimes cries, he leaps, he laughs, he dances without caring for external environment. He appears like a madman, practically like a madman. And in fact, even ISKCON devotees, what do outside people sometimes say? So they say, you've gone mad. You don't go for shopping. You don't go to see movies. You don't go to friends, and you're always in Krishna consciousness. What's this? You're mad. That's what they pass comments. But that's compliment for us. We are mad. Yeah. We want to become mad in love of God. Oh, Hare Krishna. Yeah. So we want to become mad in love of God. We want to become. That's the goal of our life. So this statement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this statement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is this statement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is a very important statement because he said that you are a madman, I am a madman. So it's not that he's just saying out of something sentiments. It carries a lot of weight if you really think about it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mad and Raman Rai is mad in the sense that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are mad? First of all, why they are mad? Why they are mad? Because they are meditating on Krishna, and Krishna has all contradictory qualities. So if you read Antya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu says, I can't control my mind. I'm getting confused. Krishna is Rasik Shekhar or Krishna is Brahmachari. What's this? Krishna is my dear or Krishna is cruel? Krishna accepts or he rejects? So this contradictions, this confusion in mind make devotees mad. And of course, devotees get desire to meet Krishna, to see Krishna, but at the same time, but at the same time, devotees know that yes, I want to meet Krishna, I want to see Krishna, but I'm not qualified to see Krishna, I'm not qualified to meet Krishna. So all these contradictions in mind and all this turmoil in mind, it just shunyaitam shagat sarvam. It just brings blackout in the mind of a devotee, in those elevated devotees. And that's why Radharani says, Mahaprabhu says, Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam. So it's just blackout. I can't think, I can't speak, I can't see anything. So that's the whole point there. That is why Mahaprabhu says, I'm a madman, you are a madman. And we have to attain this platform. Of course, these are very high things I'm talking. But that's the goal of life. Let's not be shy to talk about goal of life, but at least by the same time, let's not be shy to talk about the path to attain that goal of life. That's also very important. How to get that qualification to walk on that path? That's another question. So he said, you are mad, I'm mad. So anyway, all those discussions you can read in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then Chaitanya Prabhu then goes to Puri, and then he says to Ramananda Rai, you do one thing. You retired from this government post and come to Puri. Now this is very important. So I told you, remember that actually, so I told you Ramananda Rai had a very important post, very important, very crucial post in that South India, in Rajmandri, as a governor of Prataprudra. And so usually it happens that if somebody on this post wants to retire, the king will not allow, because Prataprudra was highly dependent on Ramananda to manage all these South Indian things, South Indian politics and all these things, affairs. So, but because it was desire of Mahaprabhu, and because Prataprudra was a devotee, Ramananda Rai posted a letter, say I want to retire. And Prataprudra says, I'm very happy, just go and perfect your life, be with Mahaprabhu. If you are with Mahaprabhu, I will think I am with Mahaprabhu. That's what he saw, because Mahaprabhu was actually not giving direct personal audience to Prataprudra, King Prataprudra. Mahaprabhu was saying, I'm sannyasi, what will I do with meeting a king? What will people say? That the sannyasi is meeting a Vishay, although he's a devotee, but I don't want to spoil my mission. So anyway, so Ramananda Rai took resignation, and then so Mahaprabhu went for South India tour. So Chaitanya Prabhu said to Ramananda Rai, well, you apply for resignation, it will take some time to actually even bind off your all these affairs at South India, and then hand over to somebody else. By that time, I'll take South India tour, and then I'll come to Jagannath Puri, and then you meet me. So when Mahaprabhu went to Puri, Ramananda Rai came there. And one of the service of Ramananda Rai was to recite Srimad Bhagavatam, to recite various songs from Jayadev Goswami, from Bilwangla Thakur, and so on and so on and so on, to relieve the separation of Lord Chaitanya from Krishna. That was his service. So mind you, that service is the highest service what Ramananda Rai was offering. We can't do that service, because for doing that service, you have to know the mood of Lord Chaitanya. And you remember, I told one of the words from Chaitanya Charitamrita that when Mahaprabhu said to Sarvamotacharya, so Mahaprabhu said that there is no bhed, deya bhed nahi. There is no difference between Ramananda Rai and me. We look two bodies, but we are one soul. That's what I said. So here, when Ramananda Rai came, the whole implication of that verse is Chaitanya Prabhu is saying that Ramananda Rai can understand me and my mood. He can understand me and my mood. There were only three. So you know that there were only 3.5 devotees who could actually understand the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu completely. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mood springs from that verse, Ainanda Tanujakin Karam. Oh, sorry. So Madhven Puri's verse, so that famous verse is the Ai Deen Dayal Natha, He Mathura Natha. This verse is verse of Radharani, which was revealed to Madhven Puri. Mahaprabhu is in Radharani's mood. So only 3.5 persons could understand Mahaprabhu completely. I mean, completely, still not completely, because who can understand him completely? But more than any other. So over there, Deva Sarup Damodar, and the second was Raman Raj afterwards. So Sarup Damodar, Shikhi Mahati. Shikhi Mahati was one of the devotee of Lord Chaitanya. He was one of the Sakhi in Krishna's pastimes, incarnation of Sakhi in Krishna's pastime, Shikhi Mahati. His caste was Mahati, which still in Odisha we have this famous caste, Mahiti or Mahati. And all these people are actually accountants. So Shikhi Mahati was accountant, or so he used to keep records, daily records of Jagannath Puri temple. So he was almost like a scribe. So Shikhi Mahati. So all these people who keep records, they are given title Mahati. So Shikhi Mahati was there, and then Shikhi Mahati's sister Madhavi Devi. She was considered half because she was female, and Shikhi Mahati also had a brother, by the way. Chaitanya Charitamrita says that, whose name was Murari Mahati, which I guess his name comes in, I think, Anteli or somewhere. So Murari Mahati, but he was but he's not counted in 3.5 devotees. Shikhi Mahati, Madhavi, Sarup Damodar, and Raman Rai. So, and that's why Mahaprabhu said there is no difference between Raman and Rai. We are two bodies but one soul. So Raman Rai is, because of this fact, which Mahaprabhu revealed to us, Raman Rai could understand the mood of Lord Chaitanya as it is. And to sing a particular song according to the mood of Mahaprabhu, to relieve his separation, you have to understand what is happening inside him, in his heart. And who can understand except Raman Rai, Sarup Damodar? So that kind of service they were doing. Although externally it looks, what kind of service is this? They're just singing songs to Mahaprabhu in the night. What is this? That's the most typical service. So he was offering that service. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also praised Raman Rai. He praised Raman Rai for his sense control. And that's another thing. Raman Rai, so there was one Brahman, Pradyumna Mishra. He was also Odia devotee from Jagannath Puri. And he came to Mahaprabhu and he said, Mahaprabhu, I want to ask something about Krishna. Mahaprabhu said, you see, I don't know about Krishna. I'm a fallen person. You want to ask, go to Raman Rai. Pradyumna Mishra was very happy. Okay. He went and he was waiting for him. So he was waiting. So his servant said, Raman Rai is very busy. You please wait. He was waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever hours it went. So he just went inside and he saw what he's doing. Raman Rai was actually bathing girls, naked girls. And those girls were around like 17, 18 years old, 16, 17 years old, like almost like adult in their puberty. And personally, he was bathing them with his hands or rubbing oil on the body. Pradyumna Mishra got psyched out. He said, what kind of devotee? He came running back to Mahaprabhu next day and he said, where did you send me? Mahaprabhu said, well, you see, Raman Rai, if I see a wooden statue, my mind gets disturbed. My mind may get disturbed, but Raman Rai is such a elevated devotee. If he even touches a female, his mind is not disturbed. That's Raman Rai. So he said, you go back again. So of course, Pradyumna Mishra, he was a devotee Mahaprabhu. He believed and he went. And next day Raman Rai came and he said, okay, so what do you want? Pradyumna Mishra said, I want to hear Krishna Katha. So Raman Rai started in the evening and till morning he was speaking Krishna Katha. He was posing a question, answering, posing. Pradyumna Mishra is a full ecstasy. He came back to Mahaprabhu. He said, he's an unparalleled devotee. I never thought about it. And this whole incident, why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is recording in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Why? In fact, because of this incidents, many upper sampradayas started. And Srila Prabhupada writes in purport, scrupulous and nonsense people, they imitate Ramanand Rai. So if Krishnadas Kaviraj Swami would not have recorded this in Chaitanya Charitamrita, then probably it would have been better. But he did so because Saru Damodar, he recorded in his notes, and we get this information from Saru Damodar Goswami's notes. And why did he record this conversation between Mahaprabhu and Pradyumna Mishra? Because then it should be some philosophically important pastime. And the philosophically important pastime is, the point is, Mahaprabhu is showing, whether you are brahmachari, whether you are bhrasta, whether you are sannyasi, doesn't matter. You can be equally sense controlled. Ramanand Rai was a grahastha, he was in governor post and this and that, but his mind was beyond control. I mean, even sannyasi cannot dare to touch a female. It was beyond any kind of sense control. So Mahaprabhu was practically showing by this incident the power of holy name, the power of Krishna consciousness. That was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showing through Ramanand Rai. So all these incidences are there of Ramanand Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then, so we have no idea how did Ramanand Rai leave this world. So in fact, Saru Damodar, they leave this, we have no idea. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world. Ramanand Rai, he disappeared. And Ramanand Rai, we still remember Ramanand Rai for his book Jagannath Vallabh Natak, which Mahaprabhu used to hear daily. Jagannath Vallabh Natak, which is about pastimes of Krishna. So that is Ramanand Rai. And so if you want to read about Ramanand Rai, you can go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, 10th chapter, 134th verse. In that purport, Bhakti Prabhupada writes explanation, Adi Leela, 10th chapter, 134th verse, where a summary of Ramanand Rai's life is given. And you can pray to him that please help us enter the mysteries of devotion, for which we are here in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give us Anarpita Chiram Chirag, that's Karunyati. He came to give us something mysterious, let me put it like that, something mysterious which is beyond the conception of even any Vaishnavacharya. He is, of course, Krishna Radha himself. So Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Kyamunija. He came to show us that the highest devotee Srimati Radharani and the path they follow of love and separation to worship Krishna, that's the highest. That's what he came. Ramanand Rai assisted in that pastime. And Ramanand Rai, so one thing to note is Ramanand Rai, although he was absorbed in mellows of Krishna consciousness, and was personally with Mahaprabhu and reciting deep, intimate shlokas of Radha Krishna pastimes to relieve separation of Mahaprabhu, but he was equally philosophically very sound. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discussed with Ramanand Rai, he didn't really discuss directly Radharani and all this. He discussed philosophy, by the way, with Ramanand Rai. And he showed through Ramanand Rai's character that a real devotee is both philosophically sound and both expert in philosophy and expert in the mellows and relishing the mellows of Krishna consciousness. In fact, we think these are two different things, but these are the same thing. Because philosophy is a language of love. Without philosophy, you cannot interpret the pastimes of Krishna. You cannot even understand Ramanand Rai, what he is doing. So both are interrelated. We think philosophy and mellows are different, but actually that's it. Philosophy is language of love, and love is philosophy in action. That's how broadly we can speak like this. So anyway, let's stop here. Hare Krishna. Ramanand Rai ki jai.